Hi, guys. Welcome to season 1, episode 4 of the Scripts and Screens podcast. I'm your host, Imani Nicole.
And I'm Ashana Robinson. And I just want to thank you guys again. I can't express how grateful we are for all of the support, for everyone that comments, goes and watches what we suggest that you watch. We really do appreciate you. And all 3 episodes are now streaming on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Are we anywhere else?
I think we're on Amazon. You put us on there too. Amazon has their own little podcast
We
thing.
on Amazon too, y'all. So anyway, so how was your week, Imani, or weekend? What you do?
So I went to Baltimore because, of course, the Ravens were in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And then if you also probably know, we lost. And It was not a good loss. It wasn't like it was like we played our hearts out. It just wasn't meant for us to win. It was like, I mean, they keep trying to replay Lamar's interception, but to me, the game was way over before Lamar's interception. Like, one of the new rookie wide receivers dropped a pass like right in the end zone. So I feel like that really took off offset the momentum. So I was in Baltimore. Of course, it was flooded with people. Right. And yeah, we stayed for both games, but that was about it. Then, we have a bye week this week, and the next week after this weekend is the Super Bowl. So I'm definitely going for the Chiefs. I do not want the 49ers to win. And that just comes from, like, whenever I'm arguing with somebody and they really like something, I'm opposite. So I really don't like it. So in order for me to be satisfied, the 49ers need to lose, but we'll see. What did you do this weekend?
Nothing
noteworthy. I thought you went to the movies.
I went this week. I did go this week.
You did? Okay.
When did I go? Monday.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, me and Avery, we just went to Texas Roadhouse and she ordered
some
yum. Macaroni and cheese as her meal and didn't eat it.
Oh, wow. That's kids for you. Yeah. I couldn't do that. My parents were very big on, like, you gonna eat your food.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we took it home. She ate the next day, but she refused to touch it at the restaurant. She said it looked nasty. But then I don't know if she got hungry and heated it up and was like,
yeah, she did. Because I remember being like that as a kid. Like, I don't want spaghetti. Well, and the mom be like, well, then you're not going to eat then. And then me tiptoeing downstairs, my stomach started doing backflips and making noises and fixing me some of that spaghetti.
Yes. So she ate it. She was like, it was good. But yeah, I did go to the movies on Monday. But other than that, just been working.
Just been working and chilling.
And I don't know why I thought the Super Bowl was this weekend. I'm completely off.
Yeah. I thought it was too at one point, but yeah, no, it's actually because I work Super Bowl Sunday. So, but luckily the scheduler found someone to work the second half of my shift. So I'm going to leave at 4 and be able to catch. So I guess what we should do is everybody also, if you don't watch, of course you don't have to, but we could do a thing about like, what was your favorite commercial? So we can all watch and then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because that used to be like, I remember back when I didn't really pay attention to football and I just went for the food and the commercials. That was something that I used to always comment on. So I guess let's keep our eyes peeled for who's in these commercials. Because a lot of times they pull these actors and put them in commercials when they want to promote their brand or product for these really popular shows. Mm-hmm. So everyone keep your eye out, see which one you like the best, and we can all vote and talk about the ones we liked.
Right. Yep, that's the best part of Super Bowl for me, the commercials and the food.
Yes.
I like football, but the Cowboys ain't been to a Super Bowl since I was a toddler.
That's your team? I did not know, and I feel sorry for you. But I was rooting for y'all.
No, I'm not a good fan.
Well, you're not even from Texas. Like, why are you a Dallas Cowboys fan?
It's America's team, the American team. Don't do that.
How? Texas is so racist. How is it America's team?
That makes it the perfect American team then. What do you mean? That is the perfect
team. You're right. But that is crazy. I still don't understand how that got to be decided as America's team. But it is America's team.
Probably because Texas is really like, you think like American.
Yeah, they're real country and real southern. Gun toting, horse riding.
Yeah, all that. So,
okay, all right. Moving into our weekend blooper. I don't know if you saw, but did you see all this commotion with Nicki Minaj and Meg Thee Stallion?
I'm just so confused on how it gets to this point because they had Hot Girl Summer and they had it jumping. Like the radio would not stop playing that song. And now I'm trying to figure out how y'all went from that to this.
What's Hot Girl Summer?
That song they had together.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I
Mhm.
forgot that they do actually have a song
Yeah,
together.
right, and this is weird because now it's like, I don't know. I don't know, what you
Do,
think?
I it's I see it's just crazy because to be honest, like a lot of people are talking about it at my job.
Mhm,
So I don't if I'm being honest, I don't really listen to Meg Thee Stallion and I don't really listen to Nicki either. Like
mhm.
I've heard two songs off the Nicki Minaj album and that's Everybody and High Heels on My Tippy because those are just the main ones that people are listening to or playing.
Right.
So for me, I mean, I don't lyrically wise, artist wise, I do think, Nicki Minaj is the more seasoned vet and, she has a
Mhm.
way of putting things together. Allegedly, Meg don't write her stuff. I don't know. But, we learned that Drake didn't write some of his stuff too. So I don't have
Right,
there's nothing wrong with ghostwriting in my opinion, because to think that somebody's about to sit here, live their daily life and write a million songs is crazy. I know I wouldn't have been
right.
able to do it. So I think it's fine to have people write and like you contribute or don't contribute and you just produce it. Like it's the same
Mhm.
thing as like actors. Like they didn't write the script, but they deliver the lines.
Right.
So
They're the
I don't
performer.
know. Yeah. So I do think though is like you can't poke a bear and then run. So this is my thing.
Mhm.
Like Meg put the Megan's Law in there, clearly talking about Nicki's husband. Everybody knows this. Nicki has a track record of reacting. She knew exactly what she was signing up for, so she chose to do it. So my
Mhm.
whole thing is like anything that happens after that is like you
Yeah.
can't feel bad. Like everyone knows Nicki Minaj takes it too far. Everybody knows Nicki's not about to just let
Every
you
time,
every
every time,
time.
every
History
time.
shows. History's repeating itself. So my whole thing is like
Right.
everybody's saying, "Oh, Nicki's taking it too far." Y'all already know what y'all signed up for. Like Nicki's not
Mhm.
about to play with y'all. And
Mhm.
like there's just so many different things coming out because I didn't even realize that Drake and Rihanna had unfollowed Meg, but allegedly they unfollowed her months ago. Which I can
Mm.
see too, because I think that we don't see a lot of the background. But I think sometimes when people unfollow people, it's not even on a matter of there being beef. It's just that like your character doesn't align with my character, or like
Mhm.
what you're into, what I'm into. We're two different brands,
Right.
and
Right.
it's just like and they were saying that she was a Savage X Fenty ambassador. Then I guess Rihanna dropped her, so then there was some things there. Yeah, don't know how Drake ties into it. But for me, I just think, it's one of those things where people won't be talking about it next week. Although Nicki Minaj told her she had 24 hours to come up with another track before she aired all her laundry out. And I mean, I don't doubt it. Like, this is the thing about Nicki. I think she is well connected with a lot of people
Oh, yeah.
and a lot of men that she has not, I don't think, has physically been with. And everybody knows men gossip like women. So I know
They're
Nicki has been
worse.
told,
They are
yes,
absolutely worse. Yes.
so I know Nicki has some stuff up her sleeve that people have told her.
Mhm.
Like when I did listen to both tracks, but then I even listened to Party's track because I didn't even listen to Party's when it first came out when he dissed Megan. So I went and listened to that. Then I listened to Meg's. Then I listened to Nicki's, and she says something about like you had to pay Future to do a song. Like so, like I don't know all the moving dynamics, but I trust that like Nicki definitely has probably more ammo than
Yeah.
Meg does, and all
Yeah.
Meg can really do is pick on the husband.
Right.
And so then I don't know if you saw, but allegedly, like, okay, so you know how she brought up Megan's Law, which I didn't even know. Did you know what Megan's Law was before
No, I
Megan
had
said
to
it?
Google it. I had to Google
Me
it.
too. Me too. Which basically said that you have to let it be known when you're a sex predator or,
Yeah, you move or something like that, or they gotta
yeah,
notify
you
like
have
the
to, you
family.
go into a database where you have to disclose that information. And then allegedly the dad was like, oh, we're looking into legal action. Sir, for what? I just it's allegedly he didn't even listen to the song, but his kids listen to it as provocative. I'm just like, okay,
Oh
whatever,
my
sir.
god.
So
These people do everything for a coin. But the thing that gets me is they keep talking about Megan having this lipo. Have you seen that?
yes. Now
But the thing is, if she did, I want to know who did it because hers look better than anybody else's in the industry. Like her stomach literally looks so natural. So I don't know. I don't know. Like I feel like they were saying that that just was very strange to me because so many people have had work done.
I think she has gotten lipo and done stuff to her nose. I think she did the same thing Portia
Right.
did to her nose. Where like you don't
Right.
get a nose job, but you get those like injections to make them slimmer.
Right. But it looks
And
good.
yeah, it does. It
That's the
looks
thing. I'm
good.
like, she's saying it as if it does
Yeah,
not
because
look
I
good.
think when
It
they
looks
when they do
good.
those It does. But I think Nicki was saying it as to like you're trying to portray that you just started working out, like
Girl,
doing the
yeah.
hot girl summer, like girl. And that's the one thing I will give Nicki props for. That girl said, guess them ass shots wore off. Like
Yeah.
she's honest about the work she gets done. Where you have Kylie, that are not honest. Like y'all are just trying to
Yeah.
make it seem like, oh, all I got was this. No, you've gotten a lot done to your face. Your
Mm-hmm.
face has changed, done a 180.
Yeah.
So I think Megan's done like not substantial out of work where you can't tell her face, but there are photos that like when because people have nothing better to do, where her
Right.
nose looks significantly different. And
Mm.
Nene got her nose done or did whatever she did, and she looks like a completely different person. So that stuff does make a huge difference in someone's appearance and how pretty
Right.
they are. So I do think that Meg has definitely touched her face and touched her body. Now, Nikki said she's never touched her face. I didn't know that. I thought she had touched her face. But she said that she never touched her face, but I thought she did touch her face. But yeah, so I do think that Megan did get some stuff done. But I think what Meg did, which was very smart, was she already knew that she had a body. So, I don't know if it works like Botox units where like, oh, give me 3 units, but like I think
Right.
she did less than what people do. Like,
Right.
and I think she did it over time. Some people do all of it all at once and then we're all confused, or they do a little bit at a time. So I think that she's probably done something like on a yearly basis versus like doing it all at one time, moving the fat.
Right.
So yeah, I think she did touch her body for sure. Because like whenever people were like, oh, her body is naturally fat, and I'm like, there were times where I would remember seeing Meg on like stage and stuff, and to me, like, yes, she had a body, but her butt wasn't crazy big. And then I feel like a little bit sometimes now, but that could just be based on what you wear. But now when she wears stuff, it still doesn't look crazy big. Like, of course, it's not giving BBL to me,
Right.
but it is giving, a little plumper. But just like, people hate to hear this, I think Beyonce has done stuff to her body and face as well. But, people say she hasn't. Maybe she hasn't. I don't know. She looks different. People say it's pregnancy, but I don't think that that's it.
Mm-hmm.
After you push the baby out, like your face kind of, doesn't stay like that. So I think she's gotten some work done too. I don't know. But I think, I don't know. You just never know. But my whole thing is like anytime you do a little something and you just don't want to come out and say you did a little something, it's going to bring about those things, and people are going to do the deep dives because people have nothing to do, and you took pictures all this time. So your body can't change in a course of 2 days. So if people see one picture and they see another, it's not adding up. We just saw you last month.
Right.
And I don't care what kind of trainer you got. You can ask people who go to the gym and work out every day.
Right.
Like there gets to that point where you're at a point where your body just isn't changing, and it's just kind of annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But
you gotta be in the hospital bed with the stuff on your face, taking a selfie, like letting the world know, so they won't come at you later. Like at this
no,
point.
literally, you have to document. You have to document everything because we think it's all a lie. If you don't document it, we think it's all a lie. And like, then there's rumors that of course, there's that controversy that Meg didn't actually get shot.
Right. Right.
Then there's rumors that she did get shot, but it wasn't Tori. So I don't.
Who knows? I really wish I was a fly on the wall that night when she got shot, because I'm just so confused.
Me too, because then Nicki was saying in the song that like Kylie kicked you out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they started a commotion.
Yeah, I heard that Meg was like, I guess, messing with what's that boy's name? Tori. And he was trying to flirt with Kylie, and then Meg got upset. That's one story I heard. And then I heard that Tori was interested in Meg's friend.
Yes, that's what I heard. Like he was talking to the best friend. Like they were actually talking, and Meg is the one who slept with him behind her best friend's back. But it was
honestly,
always
it could be all of that. It could all be all that. He could have been talking to the friend and still trying to flirt with Kylie and sleeping with Meg, because you know how they do. You know,
1,000%.
So it might all be all of it.
1,000%.
But yeah,
1,000%. It's a mess. It's a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the only weekend blooper I have. So I guess we'll head into our plot and pop.
Yes.
And go into what we watched.
This week, we only had 2 plot and pops, but we did have the Watch Your Shelf with the Fool Me Once. So we had The Bear, season 2. Y'all know we did season 1 last week. And then we have Rustin. So with the bear, oh, I love this show. I love this show. I just cannot express how much I love this show. So basically, the bear, the whole concept of season two was opening this restaurant in a
Mm-hmm.
crazy amount of time. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to take them, I can't remember what they wanted it to take, but they literally rushed and got this
I think they
restaurant
only gave
open.
themselves like 84 weeks.
Yeah, it was something
It was,
crazy.
yeah. I mean, not 84 weeks. Lord have mercy. 84 days, 12 weeks.
Oh yeah. 12 weeks. And then like it was
It-
supposed to take what, not 6 months. It was supposed to take longer than that, right?
yeah, it should
Yeah.
have. I mean,
And
based on everything
then
they needed done.
right, and then they were all came together, was like, "No, we gotta get this thing open. We don't have the money." And then
Right?
this, of course, came from them finding money. If you guys haven't
Mm-hmm.
watched season 1, I'm sorry, it's another spoiler. Finding money, they found so much money in hidden spaghetti sauce cans, well, tomato sauce cans.
Yeah.
They literally opened up every can, and it was like rolls of $100 bills.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think the theme of this season had 2 themes. The
Mm-hmm.
first, I would definitely say, is stepping out of your comfort zone. For one, with just them starting the restaurant, the overall plot of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think with Marcus going to Copenhagen, that definitely was him
Yes.
stepping out. And then
Yes.
it had the guy from I know he's played in more stuff, but
Yes.
We Are the Millers.
We're the Millers,
Yes,
yes. And
Will
I couldn't
Poulter.
believe it. I couldn't
Yes,
believe the 180 he did, and he did great. And he was so attractive in the bear.
yes, yeah. I
And
saw
like when I
people
looked
said
at
he
him
had
and
the
We're the
best glow up.
Millers,
Yeah, they said he turned
yes,
into
I
a
was like,
Hemsworth brother.
wait, that's funny. He's the third Hemsworth brother. Wow, that's so true. He was,
Yes.
I was like, wait, I could tell it was him, but I was like, oh, Buddy grew up.
Yes.
Buddy grew up.
Because he definitely would. It was back in We Are the Millers. He just had that like goofy, dorky little brother
Yes,
look.
he really did.
And then now it's just a whole glow up. But yeah, I love that for Marcus going to Copenhagen.
Mm-hmm.
Tina and Ibra going to culinary school. I thought,
Mm-hmm.
that was them stepping out their comfort zones. And you could see how it went 2 different directions with Tina, embracing the change. And Ibra, of course, you know how some older people are, especially some
Yeah,
older
they don't
Black
like
people.
change.
Right. He was like, this is too much for me. I've been doing this for this many years. Culinary school, nah. Um, and then Carmi, his relationship with Claire, that definitely was him stepping out of his comfort zone. But I wanted to ask you too, if somebody gave you a fake number, would you still call them?
No, she was pressed out.
She was absolutely pressed.
She was pressed out.
When I
And I
found
was
like,
confused because when I first saw her, before I knew that they had never talked in school, I thought that that was his ex or something. Like, oh, you ran
yes,
into your ex. And then, like, as it's developing, it's like, oh, I wish you would have talked to me more. And, like,
and I was a little confused by their dynamic too, because it almost seems like they were kind of friends a little
yeah. And
bit. Like he friend zoned her, maybe because they tried to make, especially in that Christmas scene, like maybe she was like chubby with glasses.
yeah, that's what I got too. That she, like, oh, they, like, Claire got her, like, she's hot now, bro. Like,
Right,
she lost all the weight. And
right.
yeah, so I was real confused
Yeah.
about that little throw in. Um, But I also, okay, so tell me if you got this vibe.
Hmm.
Sydney.
And
So
Carmi?
they were, yes.
Yes. Oh, I have that written down, Imani. I was gonna ask you about that.
So I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh.
so I see like two things of it because I definitely think she's into Marcus, right? But
Hmm.
on the other hand, I feel like they have this relationship where they're like best friends, but there is attraction, there is like, but they
Right.
don't want to mess up the friendship.
Right.
Because Sydney was so like she's doing that like, oh, I'm so happy for you. You have a girlfriend, but also I could tell the jealousy and the annoyance because it's like I come before this restaurant that we've both poured into, but as of lately, I'm pouring into it more than you.
Right.
And like she's like, let's go taste, and he has no time. But when it comes to Claire, he's up and running. Oh, you need the
Right.
truck and the van? Yes, love the van. And so like what I didn't like about that was it circles back to things that people say of that people respect people more that they're romantically involved with than people they're not.
Mm.
And I just felt like because Carmi felt like, there was a romantic relationship developing with Claire, what she needed superseded what his best friend who was there. I mean, technically Claire was there before, but not really. They
Right.
just knew each other. But like
Right.
this girl came to you when your restaurant was in the slums. You appointed her to take on all this extra pressure and stress because you
Mhm.
believed she could handle it. And she's sitting here doing everything you told her to do, but yet you can't show up to a tasting. You can't
Right.
look at napkins. You're so busy. He would never give that energy to Claire. So I don't, that's what I don't like is that I think people should do equal around the board respect, especially when you get into a new relationship. Cause it's like, I'm your friend. I've been here very long. Like, I'm still going to be here if you guys decide that romantically you don't work.
Right.
But I
Right.
felt a lot of that tension. So I was confused.
Yeah, especially when they were under the table,
Yes.
like,
I really
fixing
care about
it.
you. Yes.
Right, and I
That
feel
was
like
very weird.
I think he likes her too, because that one scene, he was, like, showing Claire, like, when he was in there thinking, it was, like, all these scenes of Claire, and then it was, like, Sydney. He was seeing
Yeah.
Sydney. So, I don't know.
They're keeping
I
the door open to maybe
Mhm.
take it that way. Maybe not season 3, maybe not 4, maybe not 5,
Right,
but maybe season
right.
6 we see a Sydney and
Yeah.
Carmi type of
If they're
situation.
smart if they're smart, they'll end it with them on that. Like, that's how they'll end it.
Yes,
So
because
it won't.
Claire can't have the longevity. I don't see where we can grow with Carmi and Claire.
Right, because 'cause they're both too busy. Like, he has
Yeah.
to focus. He really That's how he ended up in that freezer. Again, another spoiler. Please watch this. Well, of course you can't watch it before I say please
Yeah,
watch
but
it.
you can't like
But
once you hear
anyway,
about it, you
yeah,
can watch it.
yes. But that's how he ended up in that fridge. Literally, he was gonna call the fridge man, and Claire called him, and he was debating on whether or not to answer when he should have just done what he was supposed to do and called, and he would not have been locked in that fridge. And I
Yeah,
think he did at the end, that's what he realized, like, I cannot balance both. I can't.
right.
Which is
And then
sad,
also
but yeah.
And then also the other weird thing is like he's sitting there talking to his uncle, and his uncle's telling him like, "Look, you gotta. This has to be your blood, sweat, and tears. Like this has to be
Right.
your whole life." And then he's like, "Well, I have a girlfriend." And then the uncle's
Right.
like, "Well, that's the best news I've heard, or I'm so happy."
Mhm.
I think because they've always felt like Carmi was awkward. But here's the thing:
Right.
before that dinner and like I did not think and like her taking him to the party. Nothing about Carmi gave me awkward to me.
Right.
So
Right.
like I know that the brother was more lively, more outgoing, but like nothing about Carmi. I saw more of his awkwardness, which is what I'm sure the point was this season than I did the first season. Like the first season to me was like confident. I know this. I've done this. Do this. Do this. Do
Mhm.
that. And then you see this quiet, more meek version. Because to be
Mhm.
honest, when he was sitting there and Claire took him to that party because her friend got broken up with, and she's like, he's the wrong one, right? I thought he was going to be like, yeah, so I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
But he's like, let me go get some water. And then he's like pretending to be some guy that they remember from high school.
Mhm.
And I'm just so confused. I'm like, this isn't the
Yeah.
Carmi that like I remember or like the one that I've gotten
Right.
to know from season 1. So does Carmi still remain your favorite character season 2?
I'm really leaning towards you with Marcus, maybe. I mean, I feel like this show is just full of
Rich
lovable
characters,
characters.
yeah.
I even like Richie.
Oh, Richie's number 1 for me.
Yes, Richie is now up there. Um, I wanted to follow up what you said about the uncle saying, that was the best news he had ever heard. Then he followed up with saying, like, "Uh-oh, like, you this isn't like the uncle already knew this wasn't about to work." So I do agree with you. I don't see any longevity with Claire and Carmi. Which brings me to when he was stuck in the freezer and those two conversations he had both with Claire and both with Richie.
Yeah.
I think he was talking to Tina. I can't remember who he thought was on the other side of that door while he was venting. And then Claire, I don't know why they even let her in the back, heard him saying how he basically cannot be with her. It cannot work because the little bit of feel good that he has with Claire does not amount to the amount of feel badness, I guess, he's feeling
Yeah.
right now by not being able to do what he needs to do at his restaurant. That to me was, I felt so bad for her, but I mean,
Me too, cuz imagine walking in on a conversation like that.
yeah, right. To that conversation with Richie, like again, he has moved way up on my list too. When
He's number
they're just
1.
like, yeah, like arguing, and he's like, I don't know if we're cussing on here, like, fuck you. He's like, well, I love you.
Yeah.
I love you. It's like, oh, everybody in that show need therapy. I think I said this last week, but everyone in that show, the
Yeah, everyone
whole
has like a different
Rosados, they just need to sit down. The whole
And the
family
fake
as a whole.
Berzados.
Right. They need therapy because I really, and even with Richie, I'm trying to figure out where he went wrong because, like, you can see in the episode, the Christmas episode, which was just crazy again. He's like a certain type of way with his girlfriend, baby mama, whatever. And even with the uncle Cicero, Jimmy, or I think they call him both. It's like they actually have respect for him, and then he's like in this season completely different. The mom has him in the phone as what Richie Bad News. His daughter asked him if his name really is Bad News because that's what her mom has
Mhm.
him in the phone as. And then how Cicero, I think that was season 1 too, does not respect him. But once he does that staging at the restaurant, which is also him
Mhm.
stepping out his comfort zone, he makes a complete switch, probably back to the man that he was prior to when he had gotten her, or at least closer to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because the vibe I got from the Christmas dinner was a little bit opposite than what you're getting. Like I got that Richie's kind of just always in the back. So I
Right.
feel like he was just an enabler in a way. Like he knew that the restaurant wasn't doing well, but didn't have the gall to really step up to
Mm,
Mikey and make changes. So he just would enable him. So when everyone's like calling Mikey out, he's just like that best friend that like is just gonna stand up for his best friend and call everybody
mhm.
else out. And I feel like because he had a kid on the way, he was all right. I have to actually make some money, and this restaurant really
Right.
isn't making money. But I can't
Right.
go to Mikey and say, "Hey, let's make these changes. I have a kid on the way. Let's really get this underway." So he goes
Mhm.
to the uncle, but the uncle doesn't really, like you said, take him serious at
Right.
all. So, and I feel like he didn't do any switches. He just was like, "All right, no one takes me serious." Then I think Richie just became what everybody thought of him to be, like.
Mm.
Oh, you guys think that I'm not shit or I'm not going to be anything, then okay, I'll be that. I'm going to be the person that's hard to get along with, that is always loud and always is just not helpful and makes things worse. Like I'm gonna do what you guys think is the worst thing for me to do, so that way I can't. I you expected it anyways, so you're not
Right. I
surprised when
can't
I
be a
let you down.
disappointment. Right.
Exactly, like I let you
I
down
can see that too.
anyways.
I definitely can see that too.
But that man, when he was at the restaurant, and like I just loved his growth, like how he went from like I'm not about to sit here and shine forks all day, and then
Right.
like even to the point where the guy who's not even a chef tells him how like I love this job, I love making people happy. They like literally would research people, and it just made two things. Like from watching The Bear, two things have come up. It's like I don't realize what kind of man I need. I don't know. You know, God is gonna have that figured out, but maybe I need to date a chef because they are hardworking, they're hardworking. They are like, they're serious. They're about their stuff. They're actually dedicated. And I don't know, like I'm kind of a perfectionist too, but there's like organized chaos with the chef. And that's the best way to describe my life. It's like organized chaos.
Mhm.
And I really want to be at a restaurant where someone literally researched. Like, can you imagine going to a restaurant and like them researching, knowing everything about you, and then you saying,
Mhm.
I wish I had pizza, and they go down to a local pizzeria, take the pizza, to give it a culinary twist and bring it out to you. I need
Right.
that culinary experience.
That
Like
was
I need it.
amazing. That was
I need
amazing.
it. And I just loved how serious Richie took everything. But then he also kind of took two steps back where his insecurities once again show up again, where he calls Carmen. He's like, "Oh, you think you just wanted to get rid of me. You just wanted to get rid of
And
me."
it
And I'm like, Richie,
confused
we
me.
did
Where did
so
that
much
come from?
right.
Right. I'm like, where did that even come from?
I think just his own insecurities, him in his own head.
Yeah, I
Him in
mean,
his
because
own
like the
head.
conversation was going, and then it just was like, and I'm like, what?
I think the girlfriend triggered that when she said she had gotten engaged. I
Yes.
think that
Okay.
was his downward spiral. And then he
Mhm.
just started thinking, like, no one loves me. Everyone hates me. I have no
Mhm.
value. Oh, I thought that this was supposed to help me, but now I just realized that he wants to change everything about me. But I think he realized shortly after talking to people, like, that's not the case. Like, and even the staff, I think probably thought that of him too. Like this is the most unruly one we've had, but they
Right.
really loved him, and like you could see
Right.
it with the one. I know she's not a maitre d, but like the girl who was reading off the different post-it notes and moving it,
Right.
and she was saying bye to him, and like she, I feel like she wanted to ask him, "Is everything okay?" But she just didn't,
Yeah, she had
and
a
she was just like,
follow-up. She definitely had a follow-up question. I didn't know. I wasn't
"Yeah."
sure if it was gonna be like what you're saying, if she wanted to like see if he was okay, or if she wanted to like maybe be friends outside of.
Yes, because I could see them definitely being a good couple, which I would have loved. Because I
Mhm.
think Richie, I don't even think Richie has gotten his happy ending yet. Like I think even him getting the maturity and taking on the new role at the restaurant are good things, but it's not his big win. Like
Oh yeah,
I
not
don't
at all.
know. I'm excited to see where his like I love that the wins are happening, and I'm excited to see where his big win
Mhm.
is gonna be. And
He
Tina, I
definitely
liked her
stepped up
again. Yes, he
when they
definitely did.
needed it most. With that 5 minutes when he had to take Sydney's spot because Carmi's ass is in the freezer. Yeah, he definitely did what he needed to do.
He did.
That week went very well. He learned a lot because he would not have been able to do that if he had not went to the other restaurant. He would have just been. They would have been shit out. Like that's it.
He said it would have been what?
They would have been shit out of luck. But if
Oh
he
yeah,
had
for
not
sure.
went and trained, because they would have had nobody who knew how to do it.
Yeah, they were operating at a high level in that
Yes.
restaurant. And
Yes.
okay, so do you think that so I don't know if I missed it, but do you think that Richie was the one that did the smudge?
You know, I don't know because they kept talking about that.
Yeah, they were like the smudge. Who did the smudge? Like, I don't care that it was the smudge. I just don't like that no one's fessed up to it. And
Yeah.
I thought it was Richie. Like Richie did the
Yeah.
freaking smudge. He did the
Right.
freaking
'Cause he's
smudge.
the
But
only different thing they had. Like, they had their
right.
regular stuff, and he's the only person that came in. So
And he was the only
he
one
might
not taking
have.
it serious. Like
Right. He
but yeah, season two
might.
was really good. But I will say, like, I strongly like this show. I
Mhm.
This season was good, but I still found myself like doing other things while watching it. And lately
Mhm.
I haven't watched something that's had me locked the hell in. And
Mhm.
I'm waiting for that. I think as we keep watching, something will get me locked in. But I do
Mhm.
like The Bear. It's different than what I would ever really watch. So I
Right.
love that like I'm getting out of my comfort zone of what I usually watch or my go-tos.
Right.
But I think for me, it's still maybe season three might have me glued or locked. But it
Mhm.
is one of those shows that is like I don't want to say a slow burn, but it's like your This Is Us, Grey's Anatomy of the
And
world, where it's
what I think what it is for you too? Like, I think it's two types of good shows. Like, it's shows with twists and turns
Mhm.
and actions, and then there's shows that aren't as like The Bear and like This Is Us. It's just so layered and it really touches on the human experience.
Yes, I think
So
so
I
too. It's
think,
it's
yeah,
yeah, it's like
it's
an
definitely in that.
everyday.
Right. It's definitely in that category where it's just so real, so touching on the human experience, so well written. That's what makes it such an iconic show versus a show that's got my jaw dropped, on the floor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Right.
yeah. So yeah, I think that's what it is for you. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think that's what it is for me. Is I'm looking for that jaw dropper, and like
mhm.
it usually occurs. They do one every season, and
Mhm.
clearly towards the end, so you just got to see what's going to happen in that
Right.
third. But yeah, I think it's a really, really good show. I think they have a great cast that's probably friends in real life. I think they really have a lot of
Mhm.
fun on set,
Yeah, they have
and
good chemistry.
it translates to the screen. Like
Mhm.
you wouldn't be able to tell me that none of them probably wouldn't take a bullet for each other in real life. Like you can just
Right.
tell that it coordinates to on screen.
Right. Yes, I definitely agree with that. Um, the other theme I feel like this season really touched on was motherhood. Motherhood was a big theme because it talked about, like, okay, Sydney's mother being
Hmm.
dead.
Right.
That was, the first thing I noticed. And the fact that Robert Townsend was her father, I love that. Love him. Um, the Bersado mother is crazy. That's how it really, Jamie Lee Curtis was their mother.
And she played the hell out of that.
Played the hell out
She
of
used
that
to be an
role.
alcoholic though.
Oh, for real? In real life?
Yes, in real life.
Oh, well, that's why she played it so
But
well.
that's why I was shocked she did it. But I guess she can
Separate.
differentiate because to me I feel like that's
Yeah.
so traumatic to like act in a way that I maybe once was and like
Yeah.
even have to take direction and have people tell me to turn it up a notch or turn it down a notch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I literally as I was watching it was thinking that I mean she did amazing. Like
Yeah.
to me that she could get an award for that scene alone where like I didn't feel like she deserved an award. I shouldn't say didn't deserve, but she didn't pull me on Everything Everywhere All at Once when she won an Oscar for that. I didn't
Right.
understand that.
Yeah. I fell
Um,
asleep. I need to rewatch
you
that.
did fall asleep. It was so good to me. That joint had me crying at the ends. Like I thought
Yeah.
it was so good.
I gotta try it again. I think it was just late, but yeah, I don't know. And then um I was a little confused. Who is Uncle Jimmy Cicero to them? Like, Is he in I wasn't sure watching that Christmas scene with her, because clearly she, I guess, had dated the Lee man that got into it with Mikey. They
Yeah, like that I assumed is not their dad, and I assume was like the
Right,
boyfriend or
right, the boyfriend for a while.
something.
So, like, is Uncle Jimmy Cicero, like, you know how people they date, which I think is so creepy. Like, if it was me, I'd be telling Avery, "This is your Uncle Vlad." I think that's so weird when people be doing that. Like, they're
Oh, someone who they
partners.
used to talk to, but it was so long
Yes,
ago, and now they moved on. But they're so much a part of the family that it's like, all right, this is
yes.
your uncle now.
So I was wondering how that man fit into the family, if he was really their uncle, because I don't think he is, but I don't know. So I'm like, she had me confused with that too.
Yeah,
Some
because they don't really discuss as if like
Did
that's
she
his
kiss him,
sister.
or did I make that up? Maybe they did a cheek kiss or something. It was a lot going on that episode.
No, he did kiss someone on the lips.
I think it was her. I think it was
I
Dee
don't
Donna
know
Delgado.
if it was her or if it was Sarah Paulson. I really can't remember now. But it might have been Jamie Lee Curtis that he
I
kissed
think
on the
that I
lips.
think so, because I had that note written down. Like, I was confused as to what their dynamic was.
Yeah, I think it was her that he kissed.
Sounds like she
Yeah, it
had two of
might
her
be
old
one of
man
those
in
things where
here.
like they raised him, so it was like, oh, this is your uncle, da da da.
Yeah, I don't know.
And maybe they never had like a legit relationship, but they probably you know
Yeah,
entertained it. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. But
Mhm.
I guess it's almost better that they're not real family because to give all that money, you probably wouldn't get your real uncle to like it'd be a little bit harder if they were real family versus like somebody
Right,
who just grew up kind of on the outside, seeing everything you struggled with, and
right,
feels like you're owed a chance.
right, right.
So that's yeah. I don't know if he's Jamie Lee Curtis' brother, the dad's brother. I don't know.
Yeah, her ex-boy, I have no idea, but
Yeah, maybe they'll dive deeper
yeah,
into that.
I
They're
guess
maybe
we'll
keeping that open to see. I don't know.
for season 3. I'm excited for season 3. And
Yeah, I
then,
think that'll
like,
be good.
also with Natalie being pregnant, that was definitely motherhood, and I can see how she can probably have, I don't wanna say issues, but because her mother was crazy. Like, the
Yeah,
relationship she has with her mother is off. And I was thinking about Carmi too, as far as his relationship goes. He hasn't seen a healthy relationship. The only healthy
yeah,
relationship he probably has seen is probably his sister and Pete, her husband, and you can
yeah.
tell they think he lame.
Yeah,
So, but
they thought he was gay, and he was like,
yeah,
"I'm not gay."
yeah, it's a lot of moving parts. And then Marcus's mother being sick. I mean, it just was really
Yes,
touching on mothers this season, and how basically the relationship between the person and their mother is really affecting everything else they have going on. But yeah, that was just, I really enjoyed that. And then in the finale, when Richie brought out a chocolate covered banana to Uncle Jimmy Cicero, I had to look
hmm
that up because I completely forgot that he told that story to Richie's girlfriend Tiff at the Christmas episode, that his dad used to get them chocolate covered bananas.
Oh, I completely
Yeah, I
missed
had to
that
Google
too.
that. Yeah, I Googled it because you saw when he like sat the chocolate covered banana down, like he was, I don't want to say he was about to tear up, but you could see the
Yeah, like
emotion.
he was emotional. Yeah,
Right. So
he
I was like,
was.
what is the connection with this banana? So I Googled it. And yes, in the episode, Christmas episode, when they're at the table, he was telling Tiffany about how his dad used to always get them chocolate covered
Oh,
bananas. So I
that's
guess
cute.
Richie wasn't part of the conversation, but he was listening. So he was already kind of doing what he learned at that restaurant, to kind of listen in
Yes,
on
he
people
was.
and see what
Yeah,
they need. So, but yeah, I think if Sydney and Carmi do get together, I would be a little happy because I think I want to
I
see
would
that.
too. I think
Yeah.
I'd like to see it too. They're both so much alike.
Mhm.
And even to kind of rewind with you talking about the mother relationship, I love Sydney's dad, as you were mentioning, and I
Mhm.
thought that he was such a good parent in the scene where like he's just proposing to her different things that could happen. Like, is this what you really want to do? And she
Right.
is so reactive and so emotional behind it, and he stays so level headed. Like,
Right.
I would love to be able to respond like that, where it's like you don't have the emotion involved in it, or you don't get defensive off someone else being emotional about something you're saying to them. Like,
Right.
And the dad was so level headed, like, look, this is what you want to do. I'm just telling you to think about all your options you always have. You can always work at your cut. And she's like, I don't
Yeah.
want to do that. Like, and she's so emotionally, because for her, I think for her, because she knows that it is possible that what her dad's saying is true. 'Cause then you see her like looking up and all these restaurants closed during COVID and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you can tell that, like, and because I think she reacts like me, like, I will defend my point, but I still hear what people are saying.
Right.
So I'll go and, like, it'll cause me to do extra because I did hear what you said. Even if you think I did it and I had a rebuttal, I heard what you said and I am processing it.
Mhm. And I think
So,
when it's something that you're passionate about, it almost might feel like people are criticizing that like you are a part of you. Like
yes.
restaurant stuff is so much of her personality and who she is
Yes.
that so when he's saying, it's like he might be to her, saying something kind of against the person that she is.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
never
not.
thought of it like that. But
Yeah.
you know what? We had a little therapy session. Shauna, you're my therapist. Because my friend, like, one of my really good friends, she just says, like, because I forgot what time we were having a discussion about something and she was bringing up something about another friend. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not going to complain because I'm sure some people would say, something about me. And she was like, you're just passionate. Like, you're just really passionate because,
Mhm.
I will, get a little loud, get a little, little what some people may describe as combative. But I think that that's what it is. I'm just passionate. And I feel like if someone says that discredits something that I feel like embodies who I am as a person, I'm
Mhm.
going to definitely be more passionate about it. And I never
Right.
thought about it from that perspective, but that is a good why. Like, oh, the reaction is to this. Because I wish I'd understand a person's why. So I always will be like, well, maybe this. So like that, I guess, is my why. And I never knew it, but that's what it is. I think it's when someone is doubtful or something, it's like, it's a shot at the things that make me who I am.
Right.
Makes sense. All right. Was there any other closing things you wanted to say before I move into the next one?
No, ma'am. Rustin is all yours.
All right, moving into the movie that we watched this past weekend/week was Rustin, which was on Netflix. And basically, what Rustin is about Bayard. Is it Bayard? Is that how you would pronounce it?
Byard.
Bayard.
I kept saying Bayard, but they were saying Byard.
Bayard.
Byard Rustin, yes.
It's about Bayard Rustin, who was an advisor to MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. And basically, he surrounded his life around racial equality, human rights, and democracy worldwide. But the twist is that he's an openly gay man, and you have to think about
Mhm.
how it's barely like it's just now being accepted and pushed now in these days. So imagine, doing that in the 60s.
Right.
Um, so people feel like, this movie needed to be created because he's been erased from history. So before this movie, I had no clue who
Byard.
Bayard, thank you. That's
Yes.
going to be really hard for me. Who Rustin was. I'm gonna just call him Rustin.
Right, right.
Because he wasn't in my history book, and if he was,
He
I don't
was not
remember
in mine
him.
either. That which is absolutely crazy because of how much basically the March on Washington was his idea and he put the shit together. I can't read from
Yeah,
here. He put it
that's
together.
okay. We've done
But
it. Whenever I check mark, I put that there's explicit material, so
okay,
I
gotcha.
put that it's
Yes.
not for children.
Okay. That's why it says that it hasn't marked on Apple Podcasts as explicit. And I'm like, what? Okay, that makes sense. All right. So yeah,
Yeah, we're like PG-13.
okay, gotcha. But yeah,
Because
he
to me,
literally
when I
put it
think of kids, I think
together.
of YouTube. Yes, I
Right.
know. And it's so crazy because he really did. He put it together and like no one talks about that. Everyone just always remembers that March on Washington in 1963
Mhm.
was just the I Have a Dream speech. That's all
Mhm.
people really take from that moment. But it was Rustin who really put that whole thing together, came up with the
Yes.
idea. The
Yes.
NAACP was against it at first. They were not on
Right.
board. There were so many things working against him, and he wasn't even. And then I don't know if they added this for a razzle dazzle or not, but like, in the beginning they show that him and Martin Luther King Jr. were cool, and then there was rumors about Martin Luther King Jr. stepping out on his wife,
Mhm.
and okay, did you get that he was going to use it as blackmail?
Yes. So I had to Google that. So yes, it was a rumor that he was stepping out on his wife with Rustin.
Oh, I didn't know that it was with Rustin. I
Yes.
thought it was with another
No.
woman.
With Rustin. Because which I wrote it down. Dang, I don't have my notes. But the guy that plays in American Fiction, Jeffrey Wright, he
Hmm.
was the man in the movie. Who was it? Powell was the last name. Jr. But
Clayton
basically,
Powell Jr.
yes, Clayton Powell Jr. So he said, I'm going to let the world know about Martin Luther his queen, and I'm not talking about Coretta. So queen, they kind of use that as
Yeah,
like
I
a way to
never
talk
did
about
not
gay
pick up on
people.
that, but that
Yes.
makes sense.
So yeah, that's why Rustin had to resign, and that's why Martin wasn't like pushing it when he did resign. I mean, wasn't like saying no, 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 stay, because they were going to drop that and say that they were together. I did Google that too. Yes, it was rumored that they were together. Yeah, which Vlad reminded me that it was also rumored that Martin Luther King was a communist and Rustin was an
Well,
ex-communist too.
Rustin was a communist too, but
Yeah,
if you look
so
up communism though, like when I look up
right.
communism, it's not like when they were using that in the movie, I was kind of confused because,
Yes.
yes, we look at communism as a bad thing now, but when you look at it from back then at that point, it would make sense because they were trying to say white people owned everything. No, everything is owned by the state, and we
Mm-hmm.
are an even society. It's not there's no classes where there's people above other people. We
Right.
all are equal, and we all will be paid due to our needs and abilities. And let's be real, we've
Right.
always, as black people, had the abilities.
Right.
So I would, maybe push for that too because I know that I can get paid.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing about the world is that you take a line and you flip it to what fits your narrative.
Mm-hmm.
There's socialism, there's communism, everything. So what somebody in another country does with communism does not take away from what
Right.
communism is as its baseline. So what people do
Right.
and flip it with communism and then try to call it communism has nothing to do, just like with the Republican Party. Like that's why some
Mm-hmm.
people will not claim Trump. Like you can't take something and then say it's Republicans are this, even though in my mind it kind of is that. So I guess I'm talking to myself as well. But you can be a Republican and not have such outrageous views.
Right.
Like it's
Right.
like what the storming the Capitol and all that does not make you a Republican. That is not Republican-like behavior. That's not what
Right.
the Republican Party stands for when you look up what a Republican is versus a Democrat.
Right.
Like it's just left and right. Like I'm not. So to me, I think that's how communism is. It's something that like because when I was reading it, I'm like, oh my god. When I heard it in the movie, I'm like, why the hell would this man be a part of like it was like the young league of communists at like
Yeah.
the school he went to in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, why would he join that? But then when I looked at what communism is, I'm like, you have to realize things were segregated. So this says no, nobody gets to own anything. This slaveholder or past slaveholder doesn't own this. This is owned by the state, so everybody can use it because it's owned by the state that I
Right.
reside in. So yeah, I saw they were trying to use that and then say
Mm-hmm.
that. And then they also brought up, I'm glad you brought up that part. They also brought up that like, oh, and he didn't go to the war when he was drafted.
Right. He refused.
Okay,
Right.
because why am I fighting for a country that doesn't even want to give me rights as a human being? Like,
Right.
a lot of those things where they were bringing it up was like, these are not daggers towards Rustin. Like, they made sense. And a few of them would stick up for him in the meetings because they saw, who he was, unlike Chris Rock's character, who was Roy Wilkins, who I felt a lot of like it was Roy versus Rustin. Like it was,
Mm-hmm.
they did not see eye to eye. And Chris Rock was constantly trying to like get them to not participate, not be a part of it.
Right.
And it was a really good movie though. I will say that the second half was what really did it for me versus
Right.
the first half of the movie. But I was shocked. Well, there was just so many things I didn't know. Like with Rustin, like once again, didn't know who he was till this movie. But just finding out even his background information of him being arrested because he was caught in the park with two other men. And like how I don't know if it really happened where they aired it out on the radio, but I liked
Mm-hmm.
also that people, some people were like against it and dropped out, where others were like, I don't care. So it almost made him like, not that it's a comparison of who was more brave, but like, we don't know if MLK was, into that activity or not. But like you said, he didn't really give any push. When he resigned, Martin was like, okay.
Right.
Which
Keep
is
my
like,
name clean.
right, which is crazy where it should have been like, no, I'm going to stay 10 toes down. I know that that's not the truth. And what we're doing is way bigger than rumors and gossip. So I hate that like Rustin had to he took all the bullets. He took
Yeah.
everything. Like he had to be the one to reach back out to Martin when the NAACP wouldn't get behind him. He had to pop up at the house and, talk to the wife and her be like, oh my gosh. Cause the
Mm-hmm.
wife never knew. You could tell that she didn't know that there had been any kind of strife between him and Martin.
Right. because
She
she
was like,
just
"Oh, come
right,
in. Yeah, like, I
yeah,
miss you. How you
yes.
been?" You know?
And I don't believe that rumor, just how their dynamic, like, because the way even okay, so he was sleeping with that pastor, the man that was working for Roy Wilkins. But like how
Yes.
when it came to his wife, he was nice, but it wasn't like he was trying to be her friend. Versus with Coretta, he's like, oh, like, basically, you my girl. Like I felt like it was more love there. So I don't
Yeah, it
think
wasn't
he
like, "Oh,
would
I'm
have
messing with your man behind your back." Yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah. That's very
right.
true. That's
Yeah,
very
I
true.
didn't get that.
And because he was all around the kids,
Right.
where I feel like Rustin and I forget that guy's name that was playing the 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 guy that was with the girl whose excuse me, dad had a church that he was gonna take
Oh,
over once.
Elias, Rustin's boyfriend.
Elias.
Yeah.
So with Alliance, like you said, I feel like they had it was very secretive. They were not, well, of course, I guess it had to be secretive because he was married. But
Right.
like, I also felt like what his, assistant, I guess is how you describe him, the Caucasian man that was his
Mhm.
assistant, touched on, like, he's never going to love you like the way he is tied into his wife. And like, you are just a fling. And I think that
Yes.
Rustin knew it too, even though he cared about him. I think in the grand retrospect, when you really sit down and look at it, like, this was never a forever thing. This was never
Right.
you guys ride off into the sunset. And
Mhm.
my heart broke for the assistant because it was like, I sit here and do everything and anything you
And waits
ask
for
me
you.
for. And I didn't even, and it sounded like he didn't even seek him out because he made it seem like, how about you go to another college and find another activist to like kind of prey on. So
Mhm.
I was like, he probably has so much resentment for Rustin because it was like, you came on to me, and I don't know if Rustin is who he brought to dinner because he said that he hasn't even spoken to his family once he realized how his family was racist. He
Oh.
dropped his whole family. He said, "I brought
Mhm.
someone home for dinner who was black,
Right.
and the way my parents acted, I have been on my own ever since." And so that's
Mm.
why I liked when he was in an environment where it's all African Americans, and he's like the one white man along with another
Right.
white woman, and they're getting on to him like, "What do you know about?" And then that's when he had to say, I don't have a family to go back to because I chose to love and be around black people.
Right.
So I did feel bad. And then I do like how they circled back where he was like, it made it seem like Rustin said, like, we will probably be together when it's all said and done. But right now I just need you to be, help the cause. Which I don't like
Typical.
about Rustin. Yes.
Typical.
Like, I'm not ready to wait around and let me do my dirt and then I'll come back to you when it's convenient. Hate that.
Right. Typical. Yeah, that's that man stuff, that young man stuff. Rustin's too old for that energy, but definitely giving 25, 24, 25. Like I'm still doing me. I settle down. Yeah.
Yes, you're going to be first
Yeah.
in line.
Yes. But like I wrote down this one quote that Rustin said to Elias because Elias wants to be a preacher, right? And he's down low. And Rustin
Right.
was like, how can you speak of salvation and cannot save yourself? How can you speak of love and your heart is disconnected from your flesh? And I said, "Ooh, he ate with that one. He
He
ate him
did.
up with that."
He really did. He really
Yes.
did.
But
He
yes, I
really did.
really
And
enjoyed it.
I did too. I thought it was really good, but I don't think it's going to win an Academy Award though.
Yeah. For his
Oh, did
performance? You
you?
don't think so? It was for his
No.
performance.
Mm-mm, I
Mm.
don't think so.
Hmm.
Not based on who he's up against. No.
Yeah.
No, I think he will win at the NAACP, but like he already was nominated for Golden Globes, didn't win one of those.
Right.
Was nominated at Critic Choice, did not win one of those. So we'll see about the Academy, the NAACP. I think he will win with that, but I just think with who he's up against, no, I don't think he's gonna win it. But I think he did a really good job. I do
Yeah.
think he did a really, really,
Mhm.
really good job.
And he is on fire. Like every time I turn around, he's been casted for something new.
He is. Oh, and that's what
Yeah.
I wanted
I
to tell
mean,
you. Did you know that this movie was produced by Barack and Michelle Obama's
yes.
production company,
I told my mom, I was like, they get out that
Higher
White House and went
Ground?
straight right into Hollywood. They said, forget
They
that. They
said,
are switching careers.
release the shackles and chains. Let's
Right.
really shake it up because
Yes.
that's exactly what they did. I'm like, okay, leave the world behind, Rustin. There's
Mm-hmm.
a theme here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a theme.
Right.
There's a theme. And I was shocked by that because I didn't know that it was produced by them, but they are on it. So I'm excited to see what else they keep coming up with. I hope
Mm-hmm.
they produce the other book that I'm telling you, the book that's going to become a movie that Lena Waithe picked up, which is Such a Fun Age,
Oh yes.
about the
Mm-hmm.
black girl babysitting a white baby and they saying that she stole the baby or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they'll pick that up and like we'll have a Lena Waithe / the Obamas, which I feel like that would just
Oh,
be
oh
fire.
yes. I would love
I
that. Yeah.
just, that would be really, really good. So I thought it was very, very good. I enjoyed it. And I guess we'll see what's to come. I would hope for him to win something, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if this one is the one to do it. I think that this is going to open the door for him to do a lot of more big screen acting. So we might see him on the screen with like a Matt Damon or Leonardo DiCaprio, which I think will get him to where he needs to be to lock one in. Because I mean, to me, there hasn't been a black actor that's been able to like lock in those kind of things without having like a white like leading guest actor besides Denzel. Because
Right.
I was looking at it and like Samuel L. Jackson has never won an Academy Award. Like there's just so many people that have not won Academy Awards, and
It's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy.
yeah, I think it's interesting. So we will see. I'm hoping that he does walk away with one
Mhm.
something, but we'll see.
Right.
We'll
And you
really
know what
see.
I also noticed too, like I think it's funny because we just did Saltburn with Jacob Elordi and we talked about him
Mhm.
last week too. But you know that Coleman Domingo, the man that played Rustin, you know, he was Zendaya's character's sponsor on Euphoria.
He was. I didn't even
Yes.
pick up on that.
Uh-huh. I was like, look, you got two Euphoria characters back to back. I forgot his name in Euphoria though.
I forget what his name is in
Name.
42, but
Yeah.
he was her sponsor. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. All right. So I guess moving on to our watch your shelf.
Yes. Fool me once. Yes. So we did our watch your shelf, if I can speak. Which again, just to remind y'all, it's once a month we will pick one book that has either a series or a movie that goes along with it. We'll read the book, we'll watch the show, movie, and then we'll compare. So this month, well, the month of January, we
Hmm.
watched Fool Me Once and we read the book. I listened to the audiobook. I think what you did, the actual physical
I
copy.
read the actual book. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, it's about Maya Stern, who is a military vet, and she has just buried her murdered husband, Joe. A few days later, she sees Joe on the nanny cam and begins to question how he appeared on the camera, if he's still alive, and if not, who murdered him. We then soon learn that she herself has murdered him because he murdered her sister. I was not feeling the book for real.
I wasn't either. I
Yeah,
wasn't on the show either, for real.
yeah, the show definitely was different from the book. They tried to add, you know, some more layers to make it
They
a lot
added
more
way
interesting.
too much.
Yeah, it was a lot going on compared to the book. The book to me was, I don't know, it wasn't, I don't think if I was a producer, all the books, this would have been like, oh yeah, we need to make a show out of this one.
Me
But hey,
either.
but
And not
hey.
8 episodes, maybe a nice little 3-part series or even
Mm-hmm.
2. But I think that that was the problem, was that they tried to stretch this into 8 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so crazy is when I'm watching it, I'm like, Harlan approved this. He produced it and co-wrote it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so he's a part of this, the man who wrote the book. But then I'm like, oh, but I didn't really love the book either, where I felt like I was just reading words and then somebody edited someone's little short story and like added bigger words to just throw in the mix to make it a novel. Because I feel like, I don't know. I just was, I didn't
Uh,
like either one. I struggled to get through both.
yeah, yeah. At first, like I thought it was gonna turn out because I'm like, okay, she sees him on the nanny cam. What's about to happen? But then that was like
That wasn't even
the
the
most
premise of
climatic.
the,
Yeah, that was the most climatic part. I feel like of the whole thing. Like, but yeah. So it was weird to me that in the book, the show was based in New York, but for
right.
some reason they made it a UK show.
Yeah.
Don't know what the point of that
I looked that
was.
up. So
Okay.
Harlan said, so I guess he's a UK based person.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the UK. So he said he already I could be wrong, but this is what he said. He already has a team and everything out there, and they already have done book adaptations, because guess what other show in book is his? The Stranger. I don't know if you've ever seen that on Netflix, where the girl pops up and drops like a bomb on you and then walks away and you don't know what's
Yeah.
going on. That's his book. The Stranger is Harlan Coben, and he did that one too, which is on Netflix. So that's why
I've
that one, I
seen
don't know if that
that.
one
Okay.
I don't know if that took place in the UK or not. I didn't even know it was a book until I researched it. But
Mhm.
that is why he already had a team in the UK. So he said it just made sense
They
to
did have
do
an
it
accent, I believe so. And when I
there.
watched, if I'm thinking of the same
Yeah,
show,
The Stranger has an accent. Yes, it does.
yeah,
And it has that guy in it. So
same guy,
the guy,
Joe.
yes, Joe is
Okay,
in The Stranger. He's
so Joe
the
is
main
in.
character in The Stranger.
You know what? And he's in something else too.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and they're
He's like the
all
Denzel
okay.
of the UK.
Right, the white Denzel,
Or
yeah.
maybe I shouldn't make it a black man of a Caucasian man, but he's like the Leonardo DiCaprio of the
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah, he's in a bunch of things. Okay. All right. This is making more sense. Cause I'm like, why would they just up and move it from New York to UK? But I'm like, if
Yeah.
he could have just wrote it as it being in the UK. But I
Yeah.
mean, if you
Yeah,
want to
that's
switch
why.
it
He said
up,
he already had a team there. They had already been doing this before. They did it with The Stranger. So it made sense to
gotcha.
just do
Just
it
do it
in the
there.
UK. Yep.
Okay. I'm glad you looked that up because I was really confused. I was very confused. And then the whole thing, Detective Sammy Kearse, they gave him a whole storyline. Like in the book, he had absolutely nothing, but like he was there, he was a present character, but in the show, he had a pregnant fiance.
Yes.
He
An ex that was a ghost that we find out is a ghost, but in the book that was,
hallucinations, yeah, nowhere to be found in the book. He has a partner that helps him with the crime, and
yes,
then
wasn't. Yeah.
he gets suspended because his sick self gets on a roof, knowing goodness well he can barely walk on flat ground without passing out. So why would you climb on a roof? He chases
Exactly.
a kid to the roof that the kids think he's getting arrested, and then the kid falls off the roof, which causes
Trying
him
to
to get
help him.
suspended. Now, I was so angry when that happened because he knew better than to get. He shouldn't have even been doing police work, and you're gonna
Yeah, he
climb
really
on a
shouldn't have.
roof knowing goodness well your muscles are contracting, you literally are blacking out, passing out. Why would you put yourself
Yeah.
on that roof?
Yeah, he pissed me off.
Yeah,
I could have did without, and I didn't understand that. I didn't think we needed to really stretch that character all the way out like that. And then for
right,
7 episodes, then I was confused because y'all are saying that he doesn't want to get the test done, but yet he was on pharmaceuticals that were making him hallucinate. Why was he taking drugs if he didn't already get the test? That didn't make any
right,
sense to me. He didn't even know what he had. He was afraid to even go get the test done. So how
right,
is he hallucinating off drugs if he's never got tests to be diagnosed, to be prescribed drugs, but he's been
right.
hallucinating this whole time? Y'all go ahead.
Yeah. That's coming from the pharmacist, y'all. She said it don't make sense. It don't make sense. So I was wondering too. I'm like, so what is he taking medication for? Because clearly he had to been taking the medication first for the side effects to kick in,
Yeah.
for all this other stuff to be happening to him in his body. So yeah. And then like the fact that Claire had the secret son that ended up being
Yeah. Like, and really stretched out Alexander's plot line too. Like, come on, Alexander
yeah,
Dawson.
yeah,
Just
like
was
yeah.
unnecessary. Very
Yeah.
unnecessary.
And then
I,
Shane, like in the book, because my brother had watched the show and I had read the book, and then like I watched it again with Ashton. But yeah, we were
yeah.
saying like Shane was trying to step in and be Joe. I
He
mean,
really,
like
excuse me, he
I
really
almost thought
was.
Shane was a suspect, especially in the
Me
show.
too. Me
Yeah,
too. Me too.
because
But and
he
I
was
thought that
on
he knew
Maya.
all these things that Maya was asking, and I thought that it was maybe a thing of like when she ran that Shane's a stalker, and actually
Yeah,
he shot Joe in the park.
right. Because that made sense. Because Shane was in her house for no reason,
Yes,
randomly.
always lurking.
Yes, and it's you could tell he liked her. Like he was
Yeah,
attracted to her.
you
He
could
was
tell
getting
for
into
sure.
her. And then like the strip club, I mean the in the book it was a strip club that
Strip
she was going
club, there's
to,
an
but it was an
arcade.
arcade. Yeah, it was
I
just
wanted the strip
random.
club,
Right.
a little razzle dazzle. I wanted Claire to be in that strip club.
Right. Right. Yeah, other than that, overall, I did like the show better than the book, but both of them.
I don't know what I liked better. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just don't think like this is the thing about books and this is what I feel like, did the casting read the book? That should be the premise. We have to
Oh.
all read the book before we just decide to make this
Mhm.
movie. And to me, not everybody read the book, and you could tell when they made the movie. And I think the thing about when you read a book is like you create the space in your mind. So for me, when I'm watching, like I think there were so many key things that were left out, like the lineup, how they just took that out of
Mhm.
her identifying that. Like everything was so
Mhm.
random and didn't make sense. Like how she switched the guns out, we didn't realize. Like I don't know. Like it was.
Right.
I just didn't like how they left so much out because I feel like I didn't get a feel for anyone's personality. Like to me, Claire was supposed to come off kind of like emotionless. I didn't really get that. Like I was expecting like to see that. And then with Judith too, like you didn't really like, I don't know, like she didn't give me the vibe of like she seemed guilty in this where when I'm reading the book she didn't seem so like
Right.
vindictive, and like the way they described her, like she did yoga and was like had a little work done but like looked bomb. Like I don't know, but that
Mhm.
woman's voice I know from something but I couldn't put my finger on it.
Mhm.
Judith, I just don't know. But yeah, I mean, I hope our next Watch Your Shelf is a little bit better. I heard the show was really good.
Yeah.
I got the audiobook, so I'm gonna start listening. But I'm excited
Mhm.
because it's like looking at like three different women's worlds intertwining. There's like
Right.
different things, but there's things that bring them together. And you know me, I love a little nice little jaw drop. So I think that that will
Mhm.
happen with this. And with that book, it's only going to be 6 episodes. So
Okay,
on
good.
Prime, and they're going to release every Thursday. So every time we air, it will
Okay.
air. But yeah, I thought I don't know. I didn't love it. I think they could have did way better with it, and it had too much going on. Where it would have been better if we didn't have so many different storylines going on. Because then it also was like, okay, we're researching into but like it's like so many like we went down this road but didn't go all the way through. Like researching Sammy Pierce and like him having nobody looked into how the Judah was allegedly paying the cop off. Oh, but then but
Right.
Caroline made it all up, but she showed you the transactions. I'm
Yeah,
so
that
confused.
part.
It was all over the
Okay.
place. They tried way too many different things at one time.
And okay, so I thought I missed that because I thought they said that they were paying Sammy Pierce off, right? Well, they were giving him money, and that's what we're talking about, right? What you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah. Where they said that he
So,
was getting like 9 pounds every month or 10 pounds.
right, yeah. So for what I'm like, they should have followed through because why were they paying him? Clearly, they were paying him because I guess they knew like their drugs were not good. But did he not see where he was getting paid? Like it was like you said, they never
Yeah,
followed
like
through.
how do I not see the like how does
Yeah,
he not know the account? Yeah, it was very interesting. Like I get all of it was to trip up how can I forget her name?
Maya.
Maya. All of
Hmm.
it was, and then I didn't understand the switching of Eileen to what was her name? Eva? She was Eileen in the book, but Eva in the
Oh yeah, yeah, her best friend.
and like in the book she suspected her, but in the show not at all. Like I'm just like I was
Yeah,
looking for the thing where she said like why did you give me the nanny
right.
cam? Like I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
So
a lot going on, but not enough at the same time. Like
yeah, it
they
was.
gave me a lot, but didn't follow through.
And then I read that like they only threw in the second detective because they threw in also that he was gay.
Oh, they needed a
They
gay
just did
character.
that just so that they could be appeal to everybody. Like, okay, now we have something for the people who like, who are gay. We'll sprinkle that in there. Like,
My thing
it
is,
was
which I do feel like they need representation, but if you're gonna give them representation, give them representation. He said he was gay in one scene.
right. Talked about one date.
Right. Like if y'all were gonna like do that, then expand more on his character. Show him living a life as a gay man. If you want to
Right.
have that representation. Don't
Right.
insult gay people by doing that. Like you could have left that
Exactly.
completely out.
Right, you really could have, because you could even had him on a date, and then he saw his coworker or Pierce
Anything.
driving by after he said, "Don't get in the car." They could have did that so much better.
Anything.
And same with the imaginary ghost being a black woman. All right, here's our black person.
Right. Don't insult us. Like just leave I'd rather you leave me out than try to do some little insults and shit
You
like
don't have to
that.
do no inclusive. Like it's not
Right.
necessary. It's not
Right.
necessary.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now we see Keir's talking out of nowhere. And it's like, how is he able to still work on the case where he's been an alcoholic and people are just openly discussing it? they're arresting people every 5 seconds, like, and then letting them go. Like, you can't do that in the real world. Like, what is going on? Like, I'm not cussing them. I'm like, I didn't do it. Just take them off and let me talk to you. Like, come
Right.
on. Like, what are we talking about? They arrested
Right.
Corey the Whistle, then arrested Maya, then took the cuffs off. Like, go ahead.
Yes. Maya is under arrest whole time, but she had a whole plot, and they over there live streaming. Like, what? Girl, she was black. They wouldn't been doing nothing. The
Yeah,
black people
and
would still be living.
How Corey the Whistle was caught. So why would he go back to the woods knowing that Maya already gave all the information about how he was in the woods? He wouldn't have done that as a hacker to his level of hacking government secrets. And then
Yeah.
how he hacked the damn police station, every single computer. Y'all don't got firewall? How is that even
Right.
possible?
Right.
But, from Leave the World Behind, they said that, like, didn't they say that, like, they're running on Wi-Fi that's not even protected, allegedly?
Oh yeah, they did say that.
So I don't know. It's all a mess. It's all really, really a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely won't be rewatching. Definitely won't be rereading. But I would recommend, if you are into Fool Me Once, don't read the book, just watch the show. If you are interested in watching, just watch the show. I think if
Yeah.
I watched the show and didn't read the book, maybe it would have been a little bit better. But I still think it was dragged on. It didn't need to be 8. It could have been 4 or 5, and I think we would have
Mm-hmm.
really gotten to the meat of what
Right.
needed to be had.
Right. So I'm excited about next month.
Yes, me
Expatriate.
too.
It's the
The
book.
Expatriates by
And Expat.
Janice Y.K. Lee.
I think I'm gonna read the physical copy. I think I'm gonna
Okay.
yeah. So we
Yeah,
switched.
I barely can get through I could barely get through the physical copy this time, so I was like, I gotta do audiobook this time and listen
Yeah.
every day on my way to work and from work,
Mm-hmm.
because
It's
it be
easier.
coming by so fast. Thursdays come by really quickly.
Yes, I noticed that too. I'm like, oh
And
shoot.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd be sitting here like, okay, 4 episodes Saturday, 4 episodes
Yes.
Sunday.
You really got a plan.
Yeah, I
You really
woke up
have to
this morning and
plan.
watched the last episode of Bear. Like, I
You watched it
have
last
been
night. You watched it last
struggling to
night.
get through. I
Yeah.
finished Fool Me Once last night and was on
Mm-hmm.
my phone halfway through the episode. Had to keep rewinding back.
I was doing Avery's hair watching Fool Me Once, and she was not a fan. She was like, I don't like this, mom.
He was like, turn this off.
Yes.
So
But
yes,
yes.
guys, either do the audiobook or read the hard copy book. The audiobook is 13 hours. The paperback is 338 pages. 2 episodes are already live now on Prime Video, and they're going to release ones every Thursday, and it's only going to be 6 episodes. So 2 are out now. 1 will drop when this airs tomorrow. So it'll be 3 episodes out. So definitely catch up. Do whatever you guys want. If you guys want to read, if you like physical books, do that. If you want to listen to the audio, do that. And then I'll let Shawnee tell you guys what we're also watching for next week.
Yes. Yes, I'm very excited. So for our series, we are watching. We're mainly going to be on Hulu this time. We are watching The Brother Son, which is now I said Hulu, Lord,
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah.
The Brother Son is on Netflix, and we are also watching the documentary called American Nightmare. And then for our movie, we are discussing American Fiction. Very excited about that, and that is actually Oscar nominated as well. So.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I heard it was good.
Mm-hmm.
So I am excited to see that. And once again, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys so much. And we can't wait to see you next week and continue to chat with us. We want to hear your guys' thoughts too. We'll post and let you guys kind of share your opinion on Fool Me Once, if you guys liked it or not.
Right.
I'll have Shawnee make a little thing and then the thumbs up. And I want to know you guys, how you guys feel about, or the heart, and drag it.
Yeah.
And do not feel like you got to drag it all the way. I mean, if you felt like that, drag it. If you felt like that, drag it. But for me, I don't know. It just wasn't. It didn't do it for me the way
Yeah.
I like. When you read the description and you like see your dead husband on a nanny cam, like I'm like, oh, this is gonna really shake things up. But it had all the appeal and didn't hit it for me. But I would love to like see what your guys' take on is. So until next week, once again, thank you so much, guys. You guys have a great weekend, and we will see you next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.
It's saying